just tell us what you're looking forward to in this fight coming up.
I'm looking forward to coming back and showcasing my skills. I think that my fight with Marie-Eve Dicaire, I was coming off a year and 3 months of layoff. I had literally sparred one time before I fought against Marie-Eve Dicaire, and I didn't perform the way that I wanted to. Like, I won the fight, unanimous decision, and I became a 3-time division world champ, and that got me in the Guinness World Records and everything. But when I watched back the film, I wasn't sharp. I didn't have my speed and have my timing that I usually have in my fights.
So you're going to see a different fighter this time?
Yeah, you're going to see a way different fighter. I think that the boxing world has forgotten who's the best woman fighter because I've been doing MMA, but I'm happy that Katie has been fighting, Amanda Serrano has been fighting, and those girls have been showcasing some great skills, but I plan to showcase some better skills coming my fight February 5th.
Talk about your focus. Do you still get butterflies and stuff like that, or what's your mindset?
I don't get butterflies. I get really excited for fights. I'm always super excited. I always have to tell my coach to let me know if I'm moving around too much, if I'm dancing too much in the back, because you can burn energy for the fight, and I want to save the energy for the fight. But sometimes I'm just really excited, and I need to be told to like calm down a little bit.
When you fight internationally as well, you know, what's your concerns of going over there? Like, I mean, can you draw on Olympic experience, or what's the difference between fighting internationally and fighting in the States in your own backyard?
Well, one, when you fighting in a different country, you don't know if that place that you're fighting in has altitude or not. So, but me doing my research, it does have an altitude change. It have a 6-hour change also. So with that, you have to start doing things differently, even, you know, 2 weeks leading out from the fight than what you would do per fighting in the USA. So we're flying out to Vegas on the 20th, going to be out there for a week to get some altitude training. Then we're going to fly over there to London, do some media stuff. And then with the fight in Cardiff, it's a 1,200 feet above the ground, but Vegas is 3,000. So I'm putting myself ahead of the game with getting some altitude training before I go over there, so I can go over there and push out my punches and my combinations, and not be worried about my lungs burning when they're tired. Because I have fought in a high altitude place before without having the time to get used to the altitude, and man, I won the fight, but my lungs were burning so bad, and that was back in the amateur. So now I know to get that altitude training before I go to places like that.
Do you feel like you have to dominate at all? I mean, just knowing that, you know, historically, you know what I mean? Do you feel like you got to go in and dominate?
I feel like every fight I have to dominate, because not only am I fighting in her territory, but everybody want me to lose. That's how I look at it. Like they want the GOAT to get dethroned. And that's why I go out there and I smash all these girls, and they be surviving and holding on for dear life. But I just keep beating them, and the ref just let them take a beating. And I walk away with the unanimous decision every fight.
You're the second local boxer recent to go over the pond and fight, Aliciabaumgarter being the first. Did you get to see her fight? Did you have any conversation with her about her performance, and what did you think of her performance, and how do you think that's going to affect your bout?
I definitely, I follow women's boxing, and I was definitely eyes glued to the TV when it was Alicia versus Terry Harper. And I wanted to see Alicia be tested, because that was a big step up fight for her. And she came and she dominated, just like I knew that she could. I knew she possessed the power, but it's more of like, how was she going to do with that big old crowd and being in a different country and fighting against the champ? And she did great, and I knew she was going to win, but I know she was going to get her like a knockout. Was it the second round or something like that? Like, it was quick. She went out there and she dominated. And you asked me, was that going to affect my fight?
Yeah, I mean, have you had any conversation with her? She give you any idea what to expect when you get over there?
No, I just told her to welcome to the World Champ Club. And I fought out the country before. I've won the Olympics in London, and I won the Olympics in Rio, and I was able to fight three different times. But I've traveled all over the world and fought. This is just my first time fighting in another country professionally. But I fought in at least 10 different countries already.
Do you think people don't know that about you?
If they didn't follow my amateur career, they don't. But I know people know at least that I've fought in London and Rio. But I've fought everywhere. I've fought in Puerto Rico. I've been everywhere. I can't even think of all the countries right now.
Are you looking forward to the
Kazakhstan,
travel?
everywhere. Am I looking for what?
Are you looking forward to the travel this time?
I'm looking forward to fighting with the crowd. I'm looking forward to boxing. I'm looking forward to showcasing my skills and my new power that I have, and just the new focus that I have too. I'm just looking forward to showcasing all of it.
Now, what do you think of your opponent's her experience. She has something like twice as much experience as you, am I correct?
Yeah, 21-0, 11 knockouts. I like it, you know, but I've already dethroned somebody who was 21-0 with 10 knockouts, being Christina Hammer, who I think was a way better fighter than Emma Kozin. But Emma has worked her way up from the bottom to be where she is. She's my mandatory. I'm not going to turn her down. She's there. I'm going to fight her. I'm going to beat her. And show her that she hasn't fought against anybody like me out of all her 21 opponents.
Claressa, I saw DT was with you, and you had phone calls from Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather. That was on your Instagram. I just wanted to talk with you on what some of those conversations were like in depth, besides the clips, and how important was that for you to have, support from guys that you watched and was around.
Well, one, I idolize Floyd Mayweather. Just his whole lifestyle. Just how he make all his decisions, have his own team, move when he want to move, make as much money as he want to make. I mean, he's probably made more money than any other boxer in the history of boxing. So I idolize him. To talk with him on the phone and to see that, he watched my last MMA fight and he thought I won, He watches my boxing. He's always giving me compliments on my accomplishments and wish me luck. But on our phone call, he just he wanted me to come out to do some training with him. He wanted to show me some stuff inside the ring. And he just told me that I'm the best at whatever I do. Because I said on the phone, I said, well, I'm the best at boxing, and I'm still learning MMA. And he said, no, you're the best at whatever you do. And that's really been very uplifting to me just throughout this whole camp. I'm not just the best at boxing. I'm the best at MMA too, because I'm the best at whatever I do. And as soon as I get those 3-4 years of experience in MMA, I'm going to be unstoppable there too. And he just reassured me that don't even worry about that little loss. He just was like, because I watched the fight and I definitely thought you won, but at the end of the day, you just keep moving forward, and I'm just ready to return back to boxing and show him why I'm the best.
And seeing the fact that a long time ago he signed Savannah Marshall and she moved over to Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports. Did you guys talk a little bit about that? Because obviously he's in your corner.
Nah, we never talked about that, but I remember when he first signed her, and it was something that he did say. He just was like, oh, that was the first, she's the only person to beat Claressa Shields, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. But I feel like I don't know what kind of fighter wouldn't capitalize off of that. If you got Floyd Mayweather behind you, and that's the reason why she's not over here. That's why she went back over there, because it was a lot of big fights that she could have taken over here. But the girls in the USA hit harder than the girls over there in the UK. And that's why she's over there fighting those girls and building her record up. And she's a knockout artist now. But there's no way that I would have been signed to Floyd and not been top tier. I would have been signed, I would have been top tier, I would have fought the best, I would have been on pay-per-view by now. But she just wasn't good enough to do that. That's why she's over there getting the easy fights in the UK.
You expecting her to show up at your fight?
I hope so. Yeah, she can come. Christina Hammer sat ringside and jumped on in the ring talking trash after I won. Savannah Marshall gonna be ringside. She's gonna jump in the ring probably after I win and talk some stuff. But talking don't win fights, fighting do. Training do, preparing does. So she's gonna see a great performance, and then after that, it's gonna be proven what I've already been telling everybody. I'm not running from her. We have been chasing her for all these years, and she's been putting up this whole facade that she's chasing me and that I'm afraid of her. If that's the case, why am I going to the UK to fight? I could fight here in the USA. I'm the one with all the belts. I'm going to the UK to fight, and I plan on fighting her in the UK, long as everything goes as planned. So I win this fight, she wins her next fight, and we meet.
How long did it take you to go back from training from MMA back to getting used to training for boxing?
I always just do both. So I focus more on MMA when it's time to focus on MMA, but boxing is a part of MMA. So I'm always still working on my punches, on my power, on my combinations. I still always work on that. So I never really lose it. It just, when I get back to boxing, it's just now you're looking at the hands and you don't have to worry about the feet and the knees and stuff.
So I think we learn more about ourselves through defeat sometimes than victory. So for you, knowing the competitor that you've been since a little girl, just what did did you learn about yourself after suffering your first, even though it wasn't boxing with MMA? What did you learn about yourself, and how can that help you moving forward, just mentally? You know what I'm saying?
I just learned that, you know, even though it was a split decision loss, it's still like I learned that focus is key. You know what I mean? So keep that focus, keep that center energy of keep your routine no matter what. You know, I've always been super strict on that, but being at the top for so long, you can probably lose your way here or there. But I just know that at the fight, I had endured a lot leading up to that fight that I didn't speak about publicly because you just gotta do what you gotta do. That's how it is when you born and raised in Flint, you know. And it's like I gotta do what I gotta do. So, yeah, I was sparring and I got headbutted 3 weeks before the actual MMA fight. I had a big old cut here. I had 8 stitches, and I couldn't even train for a whole week. And I had a mild concussion. But still, here I was at the fight. I didn't get submitted. I didn't get hurt during the fight. I felt like I won the fight, but just to know that I put in all that training and I went through the things that I went through in camp, and I still was able to go out there and perform the way that I did. So it just taught me that preparation does win fights, you know. And I was prepared. I just had a little small setback, and now I know for my next fight just to make sure I just be more careful in camp, but just keep that focus, which I did, because I made weight for the fight. I didn't make an excuse to not show up to the fight, and I had plenty of them, but I just still went out there and fought, and I won.
Now, you signed an extremely lucrative deal over Sky Sports, and
Yeah.
just wanted to speak with you on how exciting that is and just the journey to get to that.
Well, it's been a long journey, you know, for a woman to get a 7-figure deal in women's boxing. But that goes to give a thank you to my promoter, Dimitri, you know, and a thank you to Mark Taffet. Those guys work behind the scenes while I work in the gym. You know, that's it. Like, they're doing their things with the emails and the phone calls, and they just call and tell me good news. And so I've always known my worth. Dimitri has known my worth for a long time. And we know that the checks is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. We don't go down. You know, we could have taken some offers to go down to be inside the ring quicker and things of that nature, but it's a sport, but it's a business. And I'm a businesswoman, so they know, like, I'm not going to fight for $350K and then my next fight for $40,000. Like.
And then I wanted to get in your opinion with all your knowledge of, you know, helping grow in the women's sports. And I was talking to Dimitri about how you led the way. One of your good friends, you know, Amanda Serrano, is going to face Katie Taylor. Do you feel like how she's being moved with the Jake Paul undercard, has that been helpful in the women's fights and how they've kind of done it on your expertise?
You know, it's been helpful in that way because I fought main events throughout my whole time when I was fighting on Showtime. I never got the chance to fight a pay-per-view, but I think I would have done extremely well. But I think that with her fighting under Jake Paul, it is bringing notoriety to her. You know, but should it have to be that way? No. She's a 7-time division world champion. She should be recognized for Amanda Serrano, not, oh, Jake Paul is promoting or putting Amanda Serrano on. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I respect him, you know, putting her on and her finally getting the recognition that she deserved. I'm actually happy for her. You know, besides me and the beef that I had with him, but overall, it's still like I'm a Amanda Serrano fan. I go to her fights, I cheer for her. She come to my fight, she cheer for me. And I'm just happy that she's finally getting this fight with Katie Taylor because it will prove who is the best out of that division. And I think that Amanda Serrano has a great chance to dethrone Katie Taylor. I think she has the power, has the skill, has the speed. She's got to keep working, you know, and I think that fight would be huge. And she wouldn't have got that fight without the help of Jake Paul. So he is a part of her team. He's helping her, and I'm happy to see that. But I'm hoping that with Jake Paul doing that with Amanda Serrano, I hope that a lot of the guys in boxing see that they can do the same thing with you know, women fighters, not just me, but other women fighters. Like, they can put them on like that, you know, but they just gotta do it.
And seeing that there's difficulties with promotions and business and things like that, I know you're really good friends with Terence Crawford and the situation with Bob. I know there's not really much to, you know, speak on and say, but I just wanted to ask if you had any thoughts on how, you know, about the boxing business? It's kind of.
Well, I would just say that, when people of a certain stature say certain things, they have to be mindful, just like us as fighters. I think that Bob Arum saying that, Terence Crawford isn't a pay-per-view fighter and he's lost money on Terence Crawford and all that stuff, that it is hurting him moving forward with his career. Because I think that Terence Crawford is pound for pound #1. I got Canelo as #2. I think that Terence Crawford will fight against anybody and has a chance to beat anybody. But when you have the person who you're signed to saying things like, "Oh, you're not a pay-per-view star, you lost me money," it makes the other promotions or the other networks look at, "Oh, like we're gonna lose money off that fighter. Oh, so that fighter isn't worth it." And it's like, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He do great numbers. He bring in great crowds. I've been there, sold out crowds, And if Bob is losing money, I don't know how, but I will tell you that people want to see Terence Crawford fight, and everybody want to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence at 147 for the undisputed title. Everybody wants to see it. But while I'm saying that, same thing goes for, Showtime. Showtime could have hurt my career with them moving forward and saying things like, I had a great working relationship with Showtime. We never had any beef. Anytime I had media or anything, I was there. And I was cool with everybody that worked. I never gave anybody any problems. It just was that after the pandemic, I got put on a back burner, and I had to keep waiting, and my fight day kept getting pushed back and back and back, and promises were not kept. But for them to come out and say that I don't get viewership, I was one of the fighters that have the highest viewership on Showtime. It's you can look it up. It's other numbers that they can't show us, but if the big numbers show that I had 500,000 views and this other person had 200,000 views, who number is higher? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but when networks say stuff like that, it can hurt a fighter moving forward. It hasn't been able to hurt me because everybody knows the truth, and I've been able to prove the truth. But same thing with Terence Crawford. He'll be able to prove his case, and hopefully the other networks don't discredit him, and they give him a shot at everybody who he wants to fight against, and he can do it his way. That's what I hope.
And also my last question is your little bro, Shakur Stevenson, looks like he's I think you already know what I'm going to ask about the Oscar Valdez fight seeming to be happening. Just wanted to get your thoughts overall. It's a great fight for both.
It is a great fight for both. I'm happy that Shakur is getting that fight. He deserves it. He's a hard worker. I got Shakur winning. I got Shakur being tested slightly, but I think Shakur is going to break Oscar Valdez down, and by the 7th round, it'll be a knockout. Or like the ref is going to have to jump in to save Oscar Valdez because skills pay the bills. And I think Oscar Valdez is very, very strong, but Shakur is strong. He's skilled. He's smart. And just like me, we both hate losing. And I think that Shakur going to go in there and show everybody, like, y'all was saying that I wasn't nothing, and you guys are praising Oscar Valdez. And Shakur is going to take all of that from him. I think Shakur is going to beat Oscar Valdez pretty bad.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I want to remind everybody the fight is February 5th. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, available on in-demand pay-per-view, ppv.com, and the fight channel, fight.com. So tune in, and it's going to be a great night of boxing. Again, Clarissa's UK debut, and she's training for that fight here in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, and it's going to be a very special night of boxing.
Oh, real quick, Claressa, I need you to tell everyone your new Instagram because of that weird thing that Instagram did.
Well, so my Instagram page isn't deleted. At Claressa Shields is still there. Okay. It's just disabled. I should be getting that page back in less than 2 weeks. But for my new Instagram, follow me at Claressa Shields 2. Everybody want me to put official, but it's like that's not my official page. So Claressa Shields 2, because my other page is my dominant page. I have over 500,000 organic followers. So I want that page back. I'm not getting a blue check mark on the Claressa Shields 2 page either. Nope. Get my other page back.
One last one.
Yeah.
You know, Claressa, you're so well-spoken in all your interviews. I'm going to put a plug in for you. When are we going to see you as a guest analysis on one of these shows?
I don't know. I mean, I like commentating on boxing. I think I'm very knowledgeable, but I don't know. I don't know. I got some other things in the works right now, but if the opportunity comes.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
We should pursue.
I did some on UFC Fight Pass. They loved it.
Yeah, you were great.
Yeah, when I commentated the fights on there, it was fun.
Mentioning UFC, I just want to get your thoughts. Obviously, people rivaled you with Amanda Nunes for being, you know, the GOAT in her sport, and you're the GOAT in boxing. Just one of your thoughts on that. Did you see her fight?
I saw it. I think Amanda hadn't recovered from COVID yet, to be honest. I think that yes, her test came back negative, but when you catch COVID, it do a lot to your respiratory system and stuff like that. I think that she was still kind of battling with that, and that's why I think she's confident in a rematch. And Amanda won the first round. You know, I think that she just kind of, you know, gassed out because she had been sick and all this other stuff. But I think Amanda Nunes is going to come back and win her title back. But congrats to what's her name, Jenna? Yeah. Juliana Pena? Yep. Yeah, congrats to her.
And you obviously still looking in the future later on with your potential in either sport.
Yeah, in either sport, yeah, but I'm not done with MMA. I still have some MMA this year, some more next year. You know, so MMA isn't off the table. I'm still doing it, but right now I'm just focusing on defending my titles and being back #1 pound for pound on everybody's list.